Coming up on Mountain News this morning, an Eastern Kentucky legal group prepares to host a meeting that's meant to help flood survivors get the answers they need. And the local food pantry works with other organizations to get food to Eastern Kentucky families who need it the most.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
We're on the doorstep of 6 a.m. We're a minute till 6. Hi, it's Jim Freeman here on this Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. And I'm certainly glad you're along. Cameron Aaron is here to talk about some chilly weather. Cameron, I think the last time I worked together, we were talking maybe 90s. That's not anywhere near the conversation today, huh?
No, it's a complete flip of the script this morning. It's very chilly out there as we step out the door. You'll definitely need the jacket. You'll probably need to warm the car up as well, because most of us are waking up near or just above freezing. Here's a live look over at Buffalo Mountain this morning, waking up to some clear and cool conditions. 36 degrees over at Buffalo Mountain this morning. Most of us are waking up quiet. We do have a few clouds across the region, but notice back toward the north and east, we do have a couple of snow showers over portions of Wayne County, West Virginia, also into portions of Boyd County, Kentucky. So if you are traveling along I-64 near the Kentucky-West Virginia border, you may run into a few snowflakes this morning. Most of us in the upper 30s right now, 36 for London, 36 in Somerset, 36 in Pikeville. A popular number this morning. Also watching out for a freeze warning and a freeze watch across the region, and that will expire at 10 a.m. later on today. Now this is from yesterday. We actually had a trace of snow at the National Weather Service office in Jackson, and that is the earliest first snow on record, and those records have been kept since 1981, so that's something that's new. Also, the coolest high temperature on record for Jackson and London yesterday, both at 43 degrees and both shattering records of 49 and 50 degrees back in 2009 for Jackson. 1969, more than 50 years old that record was over in London, Jim.
Thanks, Cameron. Those were a bone-chilling 43 degrees yesterday. In the past, we've shared stories with you from the Housing Development Alliance and the work the people involved with it do. But now the organization is beginning a project to help those impacted by the historic flooding. WYMT's Alyssa Williams was there at the building site for the first home in this flood relief project.
Aiming to provide a home and a sense of hope to those impacted by the flood.
We're one of the very few affordable housing providers in the state of Kentucky, especially out in East Kentucky. And so what we want to do is just give people that hope that they need.
The Housing Development Alliance has just began building the first home out of the 12 they plan to build for flood survivors across Perry, Knott, and Breathitt counties.
It makes us feel like we're doing something that's going to really be here for the long haul, be here for the future, give these people a chance. You know, a lot of them have lost everything.
HDA relies on the support of donors to make these projects happen, and thanks to organizations like the Federation of Appalachian Housing Enterprises, or FAHE, HDA was able to build the first home.
Without the kindness of strangers, this wouldn't be possible. So we're glad to show them that, you know, we get the money and then we put it to work, and you can see the results.
For HDA carpenter Susan Adams, who received a home from the organization before she became an employee, she says projects like this are the most rewarding.
Because it's like a dream come true for me, because I always want to help people and to make their dreams come true like mine did.
Helping to build houses that will eventually become homes for those who lost everything. In Hazard, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Thanks, Alyssa. Those with HDA say although there's no definite timeline for when all of these houses will be completed, they're working as fast as they can to get people into homes, especially since winter is quickly approaching. People already without homes and trying to rebuild after July's historic flooding are facing a new obstacle, the cold. Like many, Ray Baker's new home is a travel trailer at the Mind-Made Adventure Park campground. He describes the trailer as cramped compared to the 3-bed, 2-bath home he was living in. He says his previous home even had a fireplace. Despite the electric heat source in the trailer, he says he's noticed a difference.
Yeah, it's electric heat, yeah. It's a whole lot colder, you know what I'm saying? See, that fireplace was really good. Boy, I was looking forward to that this winter too.
Like many others, Baker says he doesn't know when he'll make another house his home. Apple Red Legal Aid is hosting a disaster legal assistance Q&A. Attorneys will be at the Knott County Sportsplex on Thursday, October 20th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. to help answer flood survivors' questions about FEMA appeals. Attorney Whitney Bailey says Apple Red wants to continue helping people get the monetary outcome they need and deserve because they know it's working.
I was actually so excited to get a call last week. Somebody called me about looking in their bank account that morning and they had $35,800 sitting there from FEMA. So what we're doing is working. We're seeing some progress.
She says the most important information to have on hand is all documentation from FEMA and any other documentation you think could be needed as well. The deadline to register for FEMA aid is just now 9 days away. FEMA assistance can cover rental assistance, temporary housing, home repairs, personal property losses, and other disaster-related needs not covered by insurance. For a full list of the disaster recovery centers still open, visit our website at WYMT.com. Well, we've shared with you many of the harrowing stories following July's historic flooding here in eastern Kentucky. We watched as neighbors rescued neighbors. People climbed mountains to escape the water and survive some of the toughest situations. And now we share one involving a four-legged friend. Amber Philpott has the touching story.
If only this sweet face could talk, his story would be one you'd want to listen to. In the aftermath of flooding in Breathitt County, this pooch, who now goes by the name Baby Steven, was found severely injured.
She was driving with her boyfriend and she found him on the side of the road. He pulled himself out in front of her. And he was covered in blood.
Baby Steven's foster mom says that Good Samaritan known for saving animals got him to the shelter. He had a bullet from a BB gun in his spinal cord, leaving his back legs paralyzed.
He went to the vet and the vet actually recommended that he would be euthanized because he couldn't walk. He had lost a lot of blood. He was in really bad shape.
Baby Steven's story could have ended there, but the nonprofit Sweet Paws, based out of Massachusetts, was in Breathitt County helping with displaced animals after flooding. They took him in and changed his life. He was brought to the folks at Walkin' Pets, a pet mobility company, who got the dog outfitted with some new wheels. He stole hearts from the get-go.
Baby Steven was just dragging around, but you would never know that he had a problem. He was so vibrant, so personable, so happy.
Baby Steven's foster mom, Christine Cook, says at first the wheelchair was overwhelming, but with time and a little therapy, that all changed. Cook says they just needed something to bring him out of his shell.
He really likes other dogs. He's a really friendly guy. And so I said, I wonder if we found another dog in a wheelchair, if he would use the wheelchair that was bought for him.
Baby Steven took off with those new wheels, and the rest is history. Cook admits this fella might be a bit spoiled.
Now he thinks he's like the king of the world, and every time we walk places, he jumps in front of people like, look at me.
He's a pooch with a new lease on life. His foster parents hoping he's ready to roll into his forever home.
And that was former WYMT alum Amber Philpott reporting. Baby Steven, by the way, is up for adoption, but his forever parents will need to have experience caring for a disabled dog and will need to continue his rehab. Now, Christine Cook says she believes because of his sweet nature, Baby Steven has a future as a therapy dog someday. The New Hope Food Pantry in Hazard feeds between 100 and 200 people a week. The organization is a ministry through New Hope Church, and Pastor John Kidwell says those with the church work with organizations and businesses such as God's Pantry Feeding America and Walmart that donate food used to pack the large boxes for local families each week.
There will be meat, there will be produce, there'll be canned goods, dry goods. It varies each time depending upon what we actually have available. But what we try to do is prepare a box basically for a family of 4.
The food is distributed each Tuesday of every week. You do have to be eligible and a client of the food pantry to receive a box. For many nonprofits like the Appalachian Arts Alliance in downtown Hazard, donations are a way for them to make ends meet. And on Tuesday, the organization partnered with WSGS for the 3rd annual Art Station Radio Takeover Day to raise funds for the organization. WYMT's Alyssa Williams has more.
The Appalachian Arts Alliance of Hazard took over WSGS on Tuesday for its 3rd annual Art Station Radio Takeover Day.
It is exactly what it is. We take over the studios and the airwaves of WSGS 101.1 FM to raise money for the Art Station and to make sure that people are aware of everything that the Art Station is doing.
The Art Station in downtown Hazard offers various art classes and events for the community to utilize. But without fundraising opportunities like Radio Takeover Day, the Appalachian Arts Alliance would have to close the station.
You write a grant and that pays for a program or for a production or for a project. You can't get grants to pay for salaries and to pay for utilities and debt service and insurance and all of those expenses and overheads.
Through showcasing local talent and sharing personal stories of those impacted by the Art Station, the organization asks for pledges, donations that will help Art Station students like 10-year-old Carly Whitaker.
Where they're such a popular group and they've done so much for us, I think they really do deserve this because they take their time out of the day just to plan this stuff for us people to make our lives better.
Hoping to continue impacting the artists of today so they can create a more colorful tomorrow. In Hazard, Alyssa Williams, WYMT, Mountain News.
Thanks again, Alyssa. Officials say the Art Station reached its goal of raising $20,000 yesterday. If you'd still like to donate, you can call the Art Station to see how else you can help.
Another chilly morning across the region. Here's a live look over in Pikeville this morning. Current temperature at 36 degrees. We are looking at quiet conditions over in Pike County, but some people are waking up to a few snowflakes this morning once again. Most of us are dry and most of us will stay dry, but a few snowflakes, a few raindrops, maybe a few sleet pellets over portions of Wayne County, West Virginia this morning. If you're traveling along I-64 near the Kentucky-West Virginia border, you may run into a few raindrops or a few snowflakes. Current temperatures in the middle to upper 30s, 36 in Pikeville, 38 for Prestonsburg, 34 in Jackson, and 32 sitting at freezing for Wise and Williamsburg. We are going to warm up today into the lower 50s. We stay dry under plenty of sunshine into this afternoon, and we get even warmer by this weekend. I have your full forecast in just a little bit. Jim?
Okay, Cameron, spinning the wheel forecast, huh? Thanks for joining us for Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, Ukraine faces a dark winter after attacks by Russia knocked out power to a large part of the population.